So here we are, a week and a half out from my DNF in the Cairns Ironman with that grade 2 tear on my right calf. So it's starting to feel a little bit better. I'm walking a lot more freely. We've been doing a few afternoon walks with the dog, and just sort of taking him for those 25-minute, 30-minute walks has helped a lot as well. So the last 2 days, so yesterday was Tuesday, so that was a week since I've actually been to the physio. I decided just to have a little 1 hour 15 ride and threw one or two little climbs in it, but nothing over the top, just enough to put a little bit of pressure on the calf and see how it felt. And it actually felt quite good. So this morning I did another hour on the bike, and the goal there was just to roll along and get out. And to be honest, not training for a week and a half was starting to really do my head in. And one of the things I've realised with the training, it's mental health as well as physical health. And I don't know if a lot of you guys feel that same way, but I remember years and years ago, I had a really bad accident. I was mucking around on a BMX bike, as you do in your 40s, and jumped the bike and came down quite heavily. And I broke my scapula, my collarbone, 3 or 4 ribs, punctured my lung, and did a heap of other things. And that meant that I was off the bike, off any sort of training for quite a few months. And my doctor at the time, great doctor up on the Sunshine Coast, who's also a very, very keen and a competent cyclist and had been for years, did warn me. He said, look, the problem with our training is that we do get a little bit of an endorphin kick from it, which is almost like an addiction. And he said, as you come off that, what happens is if you can't train, you almost spiral into a little bit of depression, and you need to be very wary of that. And why I'm telling you this is because that's how I have felt the last few days in particular before I was able to go out and do another ride. That week and a bit not training, I found myself getting quite low in my mental health. So it's not something that I'm ashamed of. It's something in our 50s we need to be able to acknowledge, and we need to be able to find those avenues where we can use healthy habits to put ourselves in check there and to give ourselves a better mental frame. So moving forward, I'm going to continue probably just cycling about an hour to an hour and a half each day. There will be no running at least until the 4-week mark, and that'll really depend on how I feel there. I'm going to assess that then. We're still a long way out from the first race of the season, which is going to be the Moreton Bay Tri on the 27th of September. So we're looking at 90 odd days out from there, so 3 months to go. I won't start swimming for probably another 2 weeks. Probably mid-July I'll start getting back in the pool and give myself around that at least that 8 to 9 week mark back in the water. The race at the Moreton Bay, there's a few distances there. What I intend on doing up until Christmas is just race all the shorter distances. So I think off memory last year it was a 750 swim or a 900 metre swim, 20k bike ride and a 5k run. So I'm going to race that short distance again rather than the classic distance, which was what we raced a month or so ago, which was the 2k swim, 60k bike and 15k run. And the reason I'm doing that is I really want to just do some shorter distances, which lets me focus on a little bit more effort type training. Increasing that VO2 max on the bike is a bit of a goal this year as well. I felt my whole season on the bike this year, even though I did ride well in all the races that I did, I just missed that little bit of upper threshold and I used to have that. Maybe it's a case of I've just gotten a bit older. Let's face it, I am 57 now, turning 58 in a few months, and maybe I won't get that back. But I used to always be one of the stronger cyclists overall in races. I don't see that happening again. In your 20s and your 30s and even your early 40s, you do have a lot more strength than you do have in your 50s. But I still think there's a lot of improvement in my bike. So I'm looking forward to doing a few more VO2 type sessions and threshold type sessions on that and picking up on that top end. So on the run, I'm going to have to build again on that. So I'll do probably a 4-week just a nice steady zone 2 base before I start introducing any sort of short tempo and interval type sessions into that. But up until Christmas, my maximum run distances in the races itself will be the Raby Bay race, which is 6K, and I think a 10K, which is an Olympic distance at Robina prior to Christmas as well. So I will get the long runs out to about that 90-minute mark again, but I won't be going much over that, at least this side of Christmas. And then we'll look at how we're doing and where we feel we want to go from there. So really, that's what I wanted to talk about today, was just a little bit of an update on how I'm going both physically and mentally since my DNF at Cairns. It's never an easy thing to have to pull out of a race, especially when you've trained so hard and so long for it. And that was probably a good part of 10 months training that I put into that. And I had such a fantastic season leading into it. We raced 9 races that season. In that 55 to 59 age group. I didn't miss the podium in a single race. I ran the fastest run in 2 of those triathlons during that period, in my age group that is, and I won 2 of those as well outright. So I really felt I had a great season. I don't want to take away from that. Obviously, this close, I did qualify for that Australian team at the Olympic distance, which is going to be in Spain, and that's in September on the 23rd, 24th. There's no way I'm going to be ready for that. So that's one that we're going to miss this year. And we now had to look at some goals on what we're going to look at for next year. And that's something we can discuss maybe in another video. And, you guys, I'd like some feedback there as well. What are your goals for the coming season? We're coming towards the end of June here, so closing off the financial year, heading into July. We're all starting to think about that next season and what races we're going to do. So, hey, I'd love to hear from you guys. Whack down in the comments what your plans are for the upcoming season, what sort of training you're looking at doing yourself, and let's go from there. So anyway, if you've made it this far in this little bit of a review video, thanks so much. I really do appreciate your time. If you've subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. If you haven't, you know the drill. And until next time, guys, stay safe out there.